What's up, nation? Today we're talking about the sad, unfortunate news of the end of an era. The Wii U and 3DS will officially be shut down in terms of their online capabilities as of early April 2024. Nintendo just took to Nintendo of America on Twitter to announce this mysteriously late in the night when you don't normally see a post from them, kind of just trying to slide under the radar with this no doubt very disappointing news. You can argue that while the Wii U has had obviously its big struggle with sales, it only sold just over 13 million total units, and that's compared to something like 130 million that we've seen sold with the Switch. So clearly it wasn't much of a successful console, but there are some gems of games such as Mario Maker that has a huge community of players that some would argue is really the superior version to Mario Maker 2. And unfortunately, when these servers go offline, that will actually mean that all of the levels and creations that people have made in this classic iconic game are just literally gone. You of course also have Splatoon 1 with some kind of ongoing community around it, and a number of other games from a Wii U perspective, but of course many of the Wii U classic games have been ported to Nintendo Switch, so it might not be quite as hard of a blow for that system. But the 3DS, on the other hand, with over 75 million total units sold, definitely has more of an active online scene around it, and you just still have timeless classics that you can only play on the 3DS that may never get ported to a more modern console. And so you really hate to see this, and you also have to step back and realize that as we build more and more of gaming in the online space, this will continue to happen for generations to come, and we will definitely talk about the implications of when this could happen one day in the far distant future for the Nintendo Switch console that we know and love today. We need to first hop over to X, where you can see the following post from Nintendo of America, which reads, "As of early April 2024, online play and other functionality that uses online communication will end service for Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software. Thank you very much for your continued support of our products." Now, you also have a more detailed post that may answer some of the questions that you're specifically wondering about, so we're going to highlight a few of them here, where it says announcement of discontinuation of online services for Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software. Thank you very much for supporting our products. In early April 2024, online play and other functionality that uses online communication will end for Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software. This also includes online cooperative play, internet rankings, and data distribution. We will announce a specific end date at a later date. Please note that if an event occurs that would make it difficult to continue online service for Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software, we may have to discontinue services earlier than planned. We sincerely thank players for using the online service of Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software over a long period of time and apologize for any inconvenience. This includes software exclusive to new Nintendo 3DS. So you then have a few important Q&A sections where, will I still be able to play offline even after online services end? And the good answer there is yes, players will still be able to use features and game modes that do not require online communication. Will any online services still be available even after online services generally end? It will still be possible to use online services for the following software, but that may also end at some point in the future. And the software there is Pokemon Bank and Poke Transporter, which of course have communities behind them where you might just want to get everything off of Pokemon Bank to be safe, because clearly they're saying here at some point in the future they'll stop supporting it, but for the time being you can transfer those into Pokemon Home, which seems to be a more permanent destination for any Pokemon fans out there for the time being. So get them on your Nintendo Switch, do what you got to do to transfer them. I would definitely do that sooner rather than later. And the next question, are you also ending online services for software from publishers other than Nintendo? With some exceptions, online services will end for all Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software. Please contact publishers for information about the online services for their software. Now, a real important one, will it still be possible to download update data or purchase software? For the foreseeable future, it will still be possible to download update data and re-download purchase software for downloadable content from Nintendo eShop. So that last one is absolutely a big one, because if you are somebody who built out your library digitally for the Wii U and 3DS eShop and you're worried about this announcement potentially meaning that if your game is not downloaded physically onto your system that you won't be able to re-download it, the good news is for the foreseeable future, according to Nintendo, that is not the case. Now, the foreseeable future doesn't mean forever, so still ideally keep as many games and all of your data physically on a console if possible and off the servers, but it doesn't seem like that's something something that you have to worry about at this point in time. They also briefly mentioned the Street Pass feature that uses direct communication, so it will still work, but Spot Pass, which does use online connectivity, will not work for the 3DS. And this is a sad day to see these services go. It's definitely something that is just objectively costing Nintendo money to keep these services up and running, and they're choosing to pull the plug on it a little bit sooner rather than later, because you have to stop and look around. Some people were making comparisons to the PlayStation Vita, still outliving this thing with online functionality, and Nintendo is definitely, I think you could argue, killing the service a little bit sooner than many would have expected. But you also have a lot of speculation online tying this to the timing of a potential reveal for the next generation Nintendo console, because if we are to expect that something in that March time window is when we will learn about the next gen Switch successor, well, maybe Nintendo just wants to have you focused on 2 generations with online functionality at a time, and you will not really be thinking about 3DS or Wii U anymore amongst the hype of the announcement that the Switch 2 will also use Nintendo account, and all your stuff from the Switch that we have today will roll forward, and you'll kind of treat the Wii U and 3DS online functionality thing as an afterthought. I don't necessarily think that timing lines up, even though I do think it's likely that we will see these events occur near each other. I just don't think it's necessarily part of the strategy on when Nintendo is choosing to kill this service, because we've seen them slowly ramp things down. We kind of knew this day was coming. It's not really a shock to me, and it shouldn't be a shock to anybody else, because we already saw them announce the fact that the eShops would be entirely shut down, and already are at this point, for brand new purchases. If you don't have software that is in your re-downloadable library, there is no reason to go into an eShop for the 3DS or Wii U right now. I don't even know if they still load up and look the same or not. I haven't checked that out myself, but what I do know is that you can't make purchases anymore, and that was kind of where the writing was on the wall with this thing, that Nintendo was going to start pulling funds from the service of the legacy consoles and moving them into things like NSO and Nintendo account, which is definitely their broader plan for the future of their online services. And if you are somebody who's very concerned about the game preservation aspects of this, and you want to still be able to hop in and enjoy your classic online gameplay sessions, if you're somebody who's still using your 3DS or Wii U right now, it does look like there is an account that I'm not entirely familiar with by the name of Pretendo over on X, who responded to this right after it came out and actually said, "We have been made aware of Nintendo's plans to shut down Nintendo Network in April. We have begun discussing our development roadmap internally to accommodate this." So the long and short of it is, it sounds like if you are somebody who's into modding your consoles, you may have some kind of viable way to still connect to the online servers and play Metroid Prime Federation Force if you are a fan of that, and for some reason still booting it up in the modern day. It sounds like they're going to try to work around this and do it maybe as some type of peer-to-peer connection, bypassing the servers altogether. There are ways that modders can do this, and it's really cool that there are teams out there that can bring back some of that functionality. But when it comes to an official standpoint and having non-modded consoles, it is time to kind of buckle down, download the games that you want off the eShop just to be safe, in case if you need to re-download them. Get your Pokemon out of Pokemon Bank as a safety tip as well, and then also enjoy any last moment online gameplay sessions within these consoles, because whether the fans speak out against it or not, I think Nintendo is going to stick to this decision. There's also not near as much backlash as we saw when Sony was going to shut down the PS3, and I believe also the Vita store at that time. It could have coincided with each other. They had huge backlash online and actually walked back the decision, but I know that they're going to still turn around and do it at some point in the future. Nintendo fans not being near as loud over this one, probably a lot of that has to do with the popularity of the Wii U specifically, not really being on everybody's radar. But like I said, the 3DS is really a timeless one that has so many great games on it that, yes, unfortunately, online play is going to be a thing of the past. Mario Kart 7, get in your final gameplay sessions if you want to now, but I really want to hear from you guys on this particular story at this point in the video. How do you feel about this decision from Nintendo to ultimately shut down and discontinue the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS eShops? Do you think that this was something that was obviously coming? Are you surprised by this decision and you're really somebody who is directly impacted by it? Are you somebody who is worried about losing your creations on Mario Maker 1 if you were somebody who took a lot of time to create those kind of levels and they'll just be gone now? And are you personally worried that this will affect something like the Nintendo Switch? Switch 10 or less years in the future. I definitely don't think it'll affect it near as fast. My 2 cents on this particular piece is that the Switch, with its ongoing NSO subscription service, assuming that Nintendo sticks to that same subscription for the next gen console, and assuming that backwards compatibility is a thing for the next gen console, these two consoles may coexist for a lot longer with their online infrastructure and the Nintendo account system than the 3DS and Wii U have. But I do think that obviously at some point in time, the reality is that the Switch will be taken offline as well. And lastly, let me know what some of your favorite gaming memories are on both the 3DS and the Wii U. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.